Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mad Time, where you listen to the best stories of your day. Hope you're doing well because I know that some of you will freak out by the end of today's subject. In today's podcast, we have a very special guest with us. How lucky are we? Let's welcome Michael Rogers, the official detective of the very scary paranormal event of Amityville. Please introduce yourself.
At time, long story short, I graduated at New York University in 1967 as a detective. And I don't want to brag, but I've been selected as the best coroner in town in 2012. I've been on the Amityville case for as long as I can remember my name. This case is the biggest that I've worked on, and I can tell you, my friend, it was very difficult to solve everything, and there are certainly a lot of details to talk about. And also, more specific fact about my life, I can't live without seeing my dog every day. I love football, and I prefer sweet than salt.
Wow, that's incredible. So, Michael, can you tell us what's the big deal with this whole Amityville thing going around? My mailbox is freaking out. Everyone wants to know what happened for real, especially since the new movie with Bella Thorne is out.
Yes, I assume that's right. Everyone is just so curious. And if you want more information, there is also two movies about the Amityville event. They are called Amityville Horror and Amityville The Awakening.
Yes, that's right. But I think that they want to hear it from you, since you're the one and only who knows everything.
Yeah, right. And that is why I'll make you happy to go straight to the point. Everything started when the DeFeo family moved to their new house in 1965 with 5 kids, 3 boys and 2 girls. One of the boys, called Ronald Jr. DeFeo, was 23 years old at the time, was not the type of perfect little boy. Let me explain myself. He dropped out of school at a very young age, started to use hard drugs. He was always fighting with his dad. Long story short, he had a lot of problems.
Wow, that really does look like a murderer, doesn't it?
Yes, that is one thing to say. Anyway, around 3:30 a.m. on Wednesday, November 13, 1974, Ronald came home drunk from the bar. He went to sleep, but then woke up in the middle of the night, took his dad's gun, who was a Marlin 35, and shoot his parents, then his brothers and sisters.
Actually, wait a minute, Michael. I know someone who could tell us what happened the rest of the night until you take a sip of water. You listeners are very lucky today. I have another surprise for you. Let's say hi to Al Hubert. I won't say more. I'll let her introduce herself.
It is my pleasure to be here with you tonight. I'm Al Hubert, as Dila said, and I'm one of the only people who really saw with my own eyes everything that happened that night.
I don't really know if I should say that you're lucky.
Yeah, I sometimes ask myself the same question, but honestly, it's such a sad event that I wish it never happened.
Yes, that's one thing to say.
Anyway, I was at the time the DeFeo family's neighbor and also the owner of the bar where he went that night. When he came back at the bar, he had this crazy face and I knew something wasn't okay. I was so scared because it didn't look like usual. Back home, I told my wife that he killed his whole family and I was right.
I don't understand how someone can do this.
Yeah, right. For all those reasons, it's freaking me out to tell the story.
Let's talk about the more paranormal stories, now that we know pretty much what happened in the house.
The house was unsold for so long, but at first, of course, people were scared to live in a house where a whole family died.
Which is something that I understand very well.
I can say the same thing. After a couple of years, a couple moved to this famous Amityville house. Their journey was not very long.
Oh, I know what you're going to say, and it's already giving me goosebumps.
The couple started to feel a very bad vibe in the house, and they didn't really get why until they started to see ghosts around. And what I'm telling right now is that...
Oh boy, now I get why Albert was talking about goosebumps.
It's not all. Another family moved in the house too. They were the Lutz family. The husband claimed that he woke up every night at 3 a.m. What a coincidence!
Wait, isn't that the time where Ronald DeFeo carried out his murders?
Yeah, that's exactly the weird thing about it.
The Lutz family were also always smelling extremely strange odors pretty much everywhere in the house, especially around the bedrooms.
Which is something that I understand very well.
The Lutzes were even seeing green slime oozing out of the walls and keyholes.
It feels like a horror movie just by the way you explain it.
Imagine living it!
They were feeling very cold spots in certain areas of the house.
That is something mainly caused by spirits.
The next thing that I'll tell will freak out the religious ones out there. One time, a priest came to bless the house, and he allegedly heard a voice scream, "Get out!" He then told the Lutzes to never sleep in a particular room in the house.
That's exactly the kind of thing that freaks the hell out of me.
Yeah, I remember all the details. Everybody was talking about it in town.
The worst thing is that this is all completely true. I personally made George and Kathy Lutz take a lie detector test to prove their innocence, and as in your big surprise, they passed it.
Oh yeah, I remember that day. Even if they passed the test, I always believe in their story. This house was meant to be haunted after the death of 6 people. What do you think about it, Michael?
I personally think that every house has their own stories, and this one has a lot of past. It's casual to hear about ghosts. And who knows, maybe you have some.
Oh my god, that reminds me something so weird. My grandma was living at my childhood house, so I was living with my mom, my dad, and my grandma. And my grandma was someone very religious, and she believed in all these ghost stories and all that stuff. And I didn't know that until I was like 18, 19 years old. But yeah, one time she told me that when I came back from school, I was like around 8 years old, I think, at this time. She saw, like the second that I came in the room, she saw like someone pass very fast around me. And when I explained this, I also can remember her face being like so freaked out, and she turned out white. Or every time I went to school, she always heard weird noises from the second floor of my house. She was always hearing like boxes falling down, but when she got upstairs and looked if everything was alright, there was always nothing. It's like something was dropping, but there was nothing on the floor. Like, when you hear or feel something like falling down your pocket, but you look back and there's nothing and you feel kind of weird. It was this every day when I went to school.
Oh my gosh. I just have no word. How can you tell this story without freaking out? You and your grandma are so brave.
As I tell you this story, it also reminds me something. When I was, I think, in 5th grade, I heard a little girl sing in my room. But at first, I didn't really know about all this spirit stuff, so I didn't really ask myself questions. But now that I talk about what my grandma said, I'm really starting to ask myself questions.
Thank you, Dila, for sharing your stories. It was my first time making a podcast, and I really liked it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for the invitation. And if you want, come see me at my bar without telling me that you killed someone. Ha ha ha, it's a joke. Don't take it seriously.
No, thanks to you. And I hope I will see you guys next week with the last episode of the week. As you know, we are here Wednesday, Tuesday, and Friday. I would also like to thank my sponsors, Guru, Coca-Cola, Pandora, and Canon.